August 24th, 79 A.D. The bustling Roman city of Pompeii wakes up to another ordinary day. Merchants set up their stalls, children play in the streets, and laughter echoes from the taverns. Life flows as usual, until the mountain that watched over them for centuries suddenly awakens. Within hours, Mount Vesuvius erupts with unimaginable fury. Fire, ash, and poisonous gases sweep through the city. People run, scream, and pray, but there is no escape. In a single day, Pompeii is frozen in time. And in this episode of The Lost Journal, we will walk through these silent streets, uncovering the daily lives, passions, and secrets of a city trapped in its final breath. When we think of Pompeii, it is easy to imagine only the tragedy, the ash, the destruction, the final moments. But before the mountain awoke, Pompeii was alive. It was not just a Roman city, it was a crossroads of culture, wealth, and ambition. Walking through its streets, you would hear a blend of languages, Latin, Oscan, and even Greek. The city was home to around 12,000 residents, from wealthy elites to humble workers. The elite lived in grand villas decorated with colorful frescoes and mosaics, lavish gardens, fountains, and private dining rooms where guests reclined on couches while sipping imported wines. Their lives were filled with luxury, art, and politics. But not everyone in Pompeii lived like this. The majority were merchants, artisans, bakers, and farmers. Bakers rose at dawn to prepare loaves of bread, whose imprints were later found preserved in ovens. Blacksmiths shaped iron tools, while craftsmen carved jewelry, pottery, and glass. Life was laborious, but it sustained the heartbeat of the city. And then there were the slaves. They carried water, served meals, and toiled in fields. To many, they were invisible, but their labor built Pompeii's prosperity. Women of Pompeii lived more openly than in many other ancient societies. Some ran businesses, managed taverns, and even owned property. Inscriptions show names of female innkeepers and shop owners, revealing that in Pompeii, women were not only mothers and wives, but also active participants in public life. Pompeii was a mirror of the Roman Empire, its power, its diversity, and its inequalities. Behind every fresco, every marketplace, every stone-paved street, there were people. People who laughed, argued, dreamed, and loved. And it is their voices, silent for almost 2,000 years, that still echo through the ruins. If you were to step into Pompeii before the eruption, daily life would feel both familiar and strange. The city was alive with color, sound, and activity. Food was at the center of Pompeian life. In the marketplaces, the air was thick with the smell of fresh bread, olives, figs, and garum, a fermented fish sauce loved by the Romans. Street vendors sold hot pastries and roasted nuts, while taverns offered cheap wine and simple meals to workers finishing their day. In the homes of the wealthy, dinners could last for hours. Lavish banquets with exotic foods brought from across the empire, dates from the east, oysters from the coast, and fine wines from Greece. Entertainment was everywhere. The amphitheater of Pompeii, one of the oldest in the Roman world, could hold 20,000 spectators. Here, crowds cheered for gladiators, musicians, and even wild animal hunts. The theater staged comedies and tragedies, echoing with laughter and tears. Festivals dedicated to the gods brought parades, sacrifices, and games, binding the community together in celebration. Public baths were another cornerstone of daily life. They were not only places to wash, but also to socialize, do business, and gossip. Citizens moved between hot steam rooms, cold pools, and exercise yards. Even the poor could afford entry, making the baths a place where rich and poor stood side by side. Art was woven into every corner of Pompeii. Houses were painted with vibrant frescoes, scenes of gods, myths, lovers, and daily life. Some walls revealed a different side of the city, erotic paintings hidden in taverns and brothels, showing that Pompeii was not shy about desire. Daily life in Pompeii was not only about survival, it was about joy, indulgence, and community. It was a city that lived fully, unaware that every meal, every game, and every laughter would be its last. Pompeii was not only a city of commerce and survival, it was a city of beauty, imagination, and hidden desires. Everywhere you walked, the walls told stories. Homes, taverns, and public buildings were covered in frescoes, scenes of gods and heroes, of lovers embracing, of daily life captured in bright reds, yellows, and blues. Unlike the ruins we see today, Pompeii once lived in color. But art in Pompeii was not just decoration, it was communication. The paintings revealed values, beliefs, and even humor. In one home, a fresco shows a dog chained at the entrance with the words, "Cave Canem," beware the dog. In another, a couple is painted mid-embrace, a private moment frozen on plaster. And then there was the secret world of Pompeii, its erotic art. Hidden in brothels like the famous Lupanar, walls were decorated with explicit scenes, guides, almost like menus, of the pleasures offered inside. These images shocked the modern world when they were first uncovered. For the people of Pompeii, however, sexuality was not shameful. It was natural, a part of life, as ordinary as eating or drinking. Religion and myth were also woven into their art. Frescoes of Venus, Bacchus, and Apollo reminded citizens of their god's presence. Some houses even had shrines, small altars decorated with offerings to protect the family and home. Pompeii's art is perhaps its most intimate legacy. It reveals not only what they worshipped and how they lived, but what they longed for, what they laughed at, and what they dared to hide. Behind every wall painting lies a whisper of their world, an echo of passion, belief, and humanity forever preserved in ash. The morning of August 24th, 79 AD, Pompeii awakens to the sound of merchants calling sandals against stone, the laughter of children. The mountain looms above, silent, until, at midday, the earth trembles. A deafening roar fills the air. Mount Vesuvius explodes with a force that shakes the heavens. A column of smoke and fire rises more than 20 kilometers into the sky. Ash begins to fall like black snow, covering rooftops and streets. People run, clutching their children, praying to the gods. Some flee toward the sea, others seek shelter in their homes. By nightfall, the city is drowning in darkness. Roofs collapse under the weight of ash. Toxic gases suffocate those who hide indoors. At dawn, A final wave of molten pyroclastic surges rushes down the slopes of Vesuvius, moving faster than any man could run. In an instant, the city is buried. Life is over. Silence returns. For nearly 1,700 years, Pompeii lay forgotten beneath the earth. Until 1748, when excavations began. What emerged was unlike anything the world had ever seen. Bodies frozen in their final moments, faces twisted in fear, arms reaching for safety that never came, bread still in ovens, dogs chained, caught mid-struggle, a mother holding her child. Pompeii was not simply destroyed, it was preserved, a time capsule of life and death sealed in ash. Today, as we walk through its streets, we don't just see ruins, we see their final breath, their last heartbeat, their unspoken stories. Stories that remind us of the fragility of life and of the traces we all leave behind. Pompeii is more than a city lost to time. It is a mirror, a reflection of human life in all its beauty, flaws, and fragility. Through its streets, we see ourselves, our laughter, our fears, our dreams, and the traces we leave behind. In this episode of The Lost Journal, we walked among the people of Pompeii. We saw their art, tasted their meals, and stood with them in their final moments. Their silence speaks louder than words, reminding us that history is not just written in books, it is carved into the very stones and sealed in ash. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps us uncover more forgotten stories, more hidden worlds. And remember, every story leaves a trace.